The field for the biggest Derby of the season at Los Alamitos is set for Sunday, November 10, the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Super Derby. The field is led by top qualifier BP Cartel Policy, as he looks for his third graded Derby of the year. Plus champion filly Dark Enemy. She's going after her fourth Grade 1 win. Plus the undefeated Stanley Cartel, the outstanding Boardwalk, and the Grade 1 winner Let's Leave. It's a field of super sophomores. The Los Alamitos Super Derby, Sunday, November 10.
Out wide, American Dream, and one of the first to commence. Ultimate Battle got away pretty well. Near the inside, Lethal Cowboy, 1, 2, 3, running a grand race, and Blood Viper not far off them. It's American Dream, and on the inside, Lethal Cowboy, 1, 2, 3, then Cartel Perry. American Dream, and on the outside comes Home Best to win from Lethal Cowboy, 1, 2, 3.
She went in the gate well. It's always a little nervous when you go in the gate, you know, because you never know, they just might go in and then pop it. And she kind of hopped the gate, but, you know, called her out a little bit, and she started running, and I knew I had a chance to catch him up, so I tried my best, did everything I could, and got her to the wire.
Was he ahead of you?
Yeah, he was, but you know what, just let her, you know, let my mindset down and just rode her how I know how to ride her, and she got to the wire, I think.
And that was Armando Cervantes talking about the Golden State Million Futurity, a race he won aboard American Dream. We're going to talk a little bit more about this race in just a minute. First of all, I'd like to welcome the panel here on the Los Alamitos Preview Show on the eve of Breeders' Cup weekend, live from Del Mar. We're going to have all the action from Del Mar simulcast here at Los Alamitos. Welcome, Michael Wrona, Christopher Wade, and George Duarte. Let's start with you, Michael. You called the race of American Dreaming, Lethal Cowboy, 1, 2, 3. What an exciting finish that was.
Yeah, I enjoyed your video of the field moving onto the track, going past the camera up close. I was trying to remember each of the horses' names. I got 8 out of 10. I couldn't remember who the 1 and the 8 were as they went past. But anyway, American Dreamer did a fabulous job, and so did Lethal Cowboy from gate number 2. He ran his eyeballs out, but this filly is exceptional and just keeps flying the flag for Dunn Ranch. Up to Party sat this one out, but they still scooped the pool with American Dreamin'. And I guess we'll see Up to Party again soon in the 2 million trials. One little angle that I enjoyed is that the Exacta trainers, Monte Rosa and Mark Youngers, were coming off big nights in Albuquerque the night before. Streaks of Power winning the Distaff Championship for Monte, and Mark qualified a horse to the Champion of Champions by winning the big race at the end of the night with Shaker's No Secret.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I actually asked Mark Youngers on the night, congratulated him, first of all, on Shake No Secrets on that victory. And then I asked him, are we going to see him? And he's like, oh, yeah, he's on his way. And from what I understand, he might also stick around for the Brad McKenzie Winter Championship. George, you charted the race. And one thing that really stood out is when I asked Armando, were you behind Lethal Cowboy 1, 2, 3? He didn't hesitate. He said, yes, I was. That's what you saw on the when you were looking at the drone footage, right?
Yeah, and when I saw it live, when he broke really well, I thought Lethal Cowboy was going to win. He got out good. The other horse on the outside all had trouble. I thought it was his race to, but American Dream battle. She showed that she can win a fight when it's necessary, and I thought the top four all ran really well. Cartel Perry had probably the worst trip of the top four and rallied good, like we talked about in the preview show. That Odell typically they improve second time. Horse improved and was arguably second best. Favorite Jess Hawks showed he can compete with these horses at this level. I mean, I'm sure they're all like where they're at heading into the 2 million.
Yeah, American Chulitas, I believe, was the number one horse, one that went from the rail. Chris, you had a huge weekend just selecting horses from across the country. You had a really good night with your selections for both Lone Star and Albuquerque. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Lone Star, they had those trials, and our numbers were on fire. We handicapped 10 races. We had 7 top winners, 1 second choice, and 2 third choices. And one of our third choice, we got a little lucky with everything factored in, but the horse come back at $41, and we hit the exact in that race. So our numbers were on fire. Albuquerque was okay, not too bad with everything factored in. We had out of the 10 races handicap, we had 7 of the horses hit. Like we had a couple of top winners, 3 second choices, and 3 third selections. So 8 out of the 10 were out on 2 of the races. But Challenge Championship night, horses come from all over the country. Anything could happen, but it was a good night of handicapping for the simulcast racing this weekend. Evangeline Downs, just to be honest, Evangeline Downs was kind of but Lone Star was on fire, and Albuquerque was pretty good as well.
And Michael, you mentioned Streaks and Power winning the distaff out there. I wonder if they'll come back to Los Alamitos for the Charger Bar Handicap. That will be in January. The way that this horse had performed here at Los Alamitos, qualifying here at Los Al to go to Albuquerque, I would think that that race would be right up her alley for Streaks and Power. Looking forward to seeing her return. One thing that I'm also looking forward to is the entire card out there at Del Mar, Breeders' Cup weekend, both Friday and Saturday. And here at Los Alamitos, we're going to be having some fun, bringing all the simulcast action from Del Mar. All gates are going to open at 9 a.m. on Saturday. That's including the Burgars and the Vessels Club as well. Some really nice runners here forming the California contingent representing on Breeders' Cup. Mixto, who won the Pacific Classic, Straight No Chaser, Hang the Moon. Michael Joyce is part of that ownership group on Hang the Moon. Gold Phoenix, Muth, and Raging Torrent, a couple of the other horses that we know well from racing here on the West Coast. We're going to be back with George Duarte. George Duarte, you're going to bat leadoff because you're selecting a horse in the first race. And I know Michael Wrona and Chris Wade are going head-to-head with their top picks later on the card. So we'll be right back with a quick break. And we'll have George Duarte with his selection in the opener.
The traditional $2 Pick Six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a Pick Six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the Pick Six pool. Every Sunday night, we'll have either a Pick Six carryover or the 10,000 Pick Six promo, leading to gigantic total pools like the $286,000 pool on May 19th and over $269,000 on June 8th. The traditional $2 Pick Six, a great bet, a great deal, always at Los Alamitos.
And we're back here with a preview show. I mentioned that what time we open the gates for Saturday. That's 9 a.m. All gates will be open. But on Friday, the grandstand will open at 9:30 a.m. And both the Vessels Club and Burgars will be open at 10 a.m. on Friday for that fun card of from Del Mar. Big time action here at Del Mar for Breeders' Cup weekend. George, let's talk a little bit about Saturday night here at Los Alamitos. What do you have cooking for us here for the Saturday night card at Los Al? First post is 6 p.m. here at Los Al.
Well, I'm starting off right off the first race. So even if you did bad in the Breeders' Cup, I got a pick for you in the first for Los Al to get you started. First, every time I look at a race, I look at the pace scenario and I see who are the lower price horses. And the favorite is, deservedly the favorite is the number 5 horse, Topolina. She's been primarily a turf horse. She's been running, she's only ran on the turf. She tired pretty badly last time. She had the lead heading into the lane, and then got a pass on both sides, and then she just gave up, and the rider just basically pulled up at the wire, so that's why it looks even worse. But she returns off that layoff with the bullet work, at Santa Anita on October 10th. But I looked into see how Ryan Hansen, because if you can see, he's 39% on the meet here. So I wanted to see how he is with these layoff horses here. And I looked in the last 5 years, he's done it 10 times off of a 4 to 6 month layoff and is 0 for 10. And only 2 have hit the board. So that automatically made me search for a price. So I was looking, and I've always liked, and the 3 starts past the Woodford has always caught my eye, especially on the gallop outs. The horse would have trouble in the beginning and then finish. You see just a horse flying. You're like, who's that? And it was past the Woodford. And then this last time, she finally put it all together, was within range. And then sometimes when you see those horses that break slow and finish well, when they break well, then they don't have that finish. But she had that finish. She blew past them and won really well. So I see she has plenty of upside. I even decided to look through her breeding. I was like, let me see her breeding, because she has weird breeding. It's like Oklahoma bred. I've never seen Eddie Willis with the thoroughbred, so I just wanted to look at her breeding. And her sire actually debuted at 3 and was a closer just like she is, and won the Zia Derby. So he has some, ability shown. The mare also debuted at 3 and then won in her 3rd career start. And then she has only one thoroughbred sibling, and he debuted at 4 this year and has 3 wins and 2 state-bred. He finished 2nd in 2 state-bred races this year. So the breeding is better than it appears. She has a lot of upside. Ramirez, I think, finally figured her out, and I think she's going to get a good setup against a vulnerable favorite that's going to have the lead, along with some pressure by the 3 Yo-Yo Ma. So I think has plenty of upside. Won't be the favorite, and has plenty of room to grow.
Yeah, first 2 outs here on Los Alamitos. The clocking's over 55 seconds, but also facing open competition. Then goes against Phillies and just does everything perfect. Goes 53-43 at 1,000 yards. And like you mentioned, Eddie Willis bringing a thoroughbred here at Los Al. I'm sure they were maybe pointing this horse for some type of thoroughbred race over at Remington Park. And it just so happened that Eddie Willis has been here, just pretty much every fall at Los Al, and maybe they thought, it would fit this 1,000-yard races. I wonder how many times Eddie Willis was seeing these 1,000-yard races at Los Al, thinking, hey, maybe I can find me a horse with some speed that can, knock heads here with these horses. Good purses here on Los Al, $15,000 up for grabs.
Yeah, and with the stakes program that you have at the summer and the winter, especially with maidens, if they win, win their maiden, win their second, non-winners are 2 and non-winners are 3, they're basically already into that stakes race. So I think he probably also took that into consideration, that if he can get this horse good, he can run for that big purse at the end of the year in this division.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at a replay. Why don't we do that, George? We'll go ahead and look at that October 6th race from past the Woodford. I'll go ahead and bring up the race, and you can kind of set it up for me as I call it up. Okay, here it is, past the Woodford. Remind us what post you'll be breaking from. And
number 3.
Number 3 here, past the Woodford. We'll go ahead and take a look at this this race. Look at the white blinkers here with Eddie Willis.
Yeah, so in her prior 2 starts, she would get away okay, but the problem was about this part of time where she would just lose ground and drop all the way to last, if you watch those replays. But this time, she kept going, and she just sat right off the duel. I mean, she got a good pace set up off a contested pace. Nobody's around her. But I just really like how she easily swooped by these horses and finished strong. I mean, she chased a good pace. 22.95 is a solid opening quarter especially for that level. And you see her just gets roused by Ricardo on the turn. Responds great. Just opens up clear basically into the lane, and then just powers home.
Yeah, it was like Ricardo was just waiting to push that button, and when he said, now is the time.
She keeps extending to the wire, and she galloped out. She galloped out good. So I think she has more than 10. She's still improving. And then the breeding suggests that they are more late developing types. So I really like her, especially at 7-2.
Outstanding. So we'll be looking forward to this race. I picked her second. I went ahead and went with the big favorite Topolina, but I certainly have my eye on Pastor Woodford here in race number 1. Well, we got a busy show coming up. I appreciate the time, George. I know you probably got to go bowl at 300 game or something. You got to go celebrate the Dodgers' big win here as well. LA is just going crazy after this World Series win. What a tremendous.
The Hitman was very excited about that World Series win when we were bowling yesterday.
That was a fun game for sure. Rolo was barking up a storm, and he enjoyed the fireworks. I can tell you that as well. My wife, a big Dodgers fan. So it was a fun Wednesday evening here in Southern California. Thanks so much, George. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the pick. And we'll be seeing you this weekend here at Los Alamitos.
The field for the biggest derby of the season at Los Alamitos is set for Sunday, November 10th, the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Super Derby. The field is led by top qualifier BP Cartel Policy, as he looks for his 3rd graded derby of the year. Plus champion filly Dark Enemy. She's going after her 4th Grade 1 win. Plus the undefeated Stanley Cartel, the outstanding Boardwalk, and the Grade 1 winner Let's Leave. It's a field of super sophomores. The Los Alamitos Super Derby, Sunday, November 10th.
And we are back in the preview show, and we're going to be taking a look at a quarter horse race now with Michael Wrona and Chris Wade. Kind of teased it going into the segment with George Duarte. And, of course, I'm talking about race number 9. And this is a nice group of maidens here at 2-year-olds going 300 yards. So let me go ahead and bring up the past performances for this race, and you can kind of tell me which way we're gonna go here with this race here, race number 9 here at Los Al. Let me go ahead and scroll down to that race that we're talking about. There it is, race 9. I'll just quickly go through the field, and then you guys can give me your selection for the 9th. Pessimist at 20-1, but Heraclio Botello. He has posted some surprising wins over the meet here at Los Al. Bit of a sneak for trainer Scott Willoughby, Dr. Ed Allred. Here, a fly through the fire gelding. Apolitical Joy running second in her trial to his trial to the Edberg Million Futurity. We haven't seen him in a while. Doc's Best Style at 10-1 for trainer Jaime Gomez. 4 Streaking Eagle. Eddie Willis, George Duarte's selection in the first races, and Eddie Willis trainee. Let's see what he does in here in the 9th. The 6th, Joshua Thomas. That ended up being my top pick for Monterosa, previously trained by Chris Odell. This horse ran 3rd in a maiden race here at Los Al. And terrific Rock and Roll, 9-2 on the morning line here from the outside post. I'll go ahead and start with you, Michael. Who did you land here in race number 9?
Well, I have to bring some context by first saying that it's a very deep, good maiden field, and I'm not bristling with confidence when I give you this 10-1 shot, but I do encourage you to throw the horse at least into your exotic wagers. Number 4, Doc's Best Style, caught my eye on debut from the rail when basically having very little idea what it was all about. He was extremely green. I think there's scope for improvement. Whether he can make enough improvement to trouble some of these horses remains to be seen. He might need another race or 2. But at 10-1, I don't want to let him get under my guard. I want to have something on him and use him in exotics at least.
And the trouble line on this one came in at the start in green. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that race in just a little bit. So definitely right there, the comment kind of gives you, I thought that, if maybe he can turn from that green to maybe more of a season outing, you can see some green in the form of some cash here with Doc's Best Style. We're going to take a look at that. I'm very interested now to see that replay. Chris, what are your thoughts in this one?
It's a closely matched affair. It can go any number of ways. You got some shippers. You got some second time over the tracks on the ship in from Albuquerque that are going to improve second time on the Los Alamitos surface. But I'm going to give a horse who has ability, bred very strongly to be a runner with solid connections, terrific rock and roll to lay outside. This horse has been a horse to watch. Any number of chances. Didn't have the best journeys last time, but galloped out very, very well. is a first-time gelding, and this horse, since that last effort, has come back with a 12-4 gate drill. That was up better than looked, and I gave it a B+. So this horse, if this horse is ever going to wake up and make some amends to the horse's previous backers, yeah, this horse has got a big look at the outcome here tonight. Drawn well to the outside, so there's no excuses. Is a first-time gelding. Nice workout, the sharpness, the horse's interior speed, and we know the horse can finish. So let me give the horse a look there as my top choice and price play on the race card. Terrific rock and roll to the outside.
All right, so we got terrific rock and roll from the outside, and we have Doc's Best Style from post number 4 here. So that's going to be pretty interesting here to take a look at these horses. Let's go ahead and start with Doc's Best Style. And we're going to take a look at race number 5, October 12th here for Doc's Best Style, racing from the rail here in the very familiar blinkers of Jaime Gomez, the yellow with the blue lettering here. Michael, you can take it away as I hit play and walk me through this nice race from Doc's Best Style.
Yeah, well, he broke inwards a little bit, and he actually, despite the jockey using a left-handed whip at the gap, the horse still wanted to lug in at the gap. And he just looked extremely green to me. His action just left me with the impression that there's a lot more to come from this horse because he galloped out well. You can't quite catch it on that particular angle of the gallop out. But trust me, he was really doing some nice work around the turn in the gallop out. And when I looked at the head-on replay, his hind action just seemed a little erratic. I just think that there's talent untapped, and typically 2-year-olds make the most improvement. See him ducking in there despite the left-handed whip. He was very hard to ride the whole way. He wanted to get in even after the gap. And he just didn't have much of a clue on debut. And typically 2-year-olds make the biggest leap, the biggest improvement from start 1 to start 2. And you can see him from that angle right up there, in fact, heading off the field, going into and around the turn on the gallop out. So, whether he can get his act together sufficiently to be a threat in this race, I'm not certain about that. But I just wanted to point him out, wanted to mention him as a value shot at 10-1. I'm willing to throw a few dollars on and see what kind of improvement this horse can make, because I think there might be something there.
Yeah, you could see that as soon as he felt that the crop for the correction, he went even farther inside, and of course is moving from the rail to post number 4. And those odds 10-1, against this deep field, it kind of might be overlooked, and maybe you get even juicier odds than that, Michael. You never know here with this quality of a field. Let's go ahead and take a look at Chris's selection. This will be terrific rock and roll. You can kind of hear a little bit of Michael starting to set up the race. Here's the race here, and terrific rock and roll is going to break from post number 3 here. Paul Jones's blinkers. Chris, talk us through this race.
The horse is moving around a little bit at the start, at the head and the gate. He didn't get away very well. He's kind of slowing the stride, and the 2's going to come over on him. The horse angles in for a clearance, and it's kind of climbing midway, but to finish better than looked. Did run last in this affair, but this horse had more run left to give under a hold near in the wire and galloped out much, much better than shown. The horse has always showed ability. It's just a matter of getting out of the gate and showing said ability. And the horse has been gelded since then, and probably put a little more focus on some of that ability now with the first-time gelding, and has come back with a 12-4 gate drill. The horse did show some pretty good speed and finished pretty well. He was striding out pretty well in the final half of the affair and galloped out pretty well. So I gave it the workout like a B+. So if he's ever going to show the ability, this horse has always shown it could be tonight. Drawn perfectly to the outside in a closely matched affair. You can see him gallop out into that turn better than shown. I like him even better at 350, but at 300 yards, if he gets away clean, first-time gelding, nice workout until the horse will look to grab a nice lights the pie at the 9-2 program. So it's going to be our price look. And as under Michael's horse did show ability there. This horse was kind of slow in the stride, drifted in, and a nice sized individual. Was starting out better than it looked and galloped out pretty well. So that horse does have a look at the outcome in a closely matched ninth event, and it could spice up that late pick 4 and the pick 6 there on Saturday night.
Yeah, and Chris, the mare, Terrific Energy. Talk about being just a terrific broodmare. She's produced so many great runners over the years. Terrific Synergy was, I believe, her first graded stakes winner here at Los Alamitos for Cody Joyner. Went on to win the Governor's Cup Derby, if I remember correctly, and a couple of other appearances in many stakes races here. I do have the workout as well, Chris, because you did mention that gate drill, October 19th, a 12-4 workout. So I do have that. So I'll go ahead and play it. Do you recall this workout, Chris?
Yes. She broke relatively well for her, not the quickest of foot, but broke relatively well and straight there, kind of lugging in just a little bit, but was head cocked sideways. But was starting out pretty well the final half of the affair. And watched this horse finish nicely right here and galloped out pretty strong. She didn't want to be pulled up. So she did show, this horse did show some improvement in the workout. And with the breeding, the workout, first time gelding, I'm going to give the horse a look there at 9-2 to be right there throughout and drawn perfectly for this one style of racing. So give that horse a look there at 9-2.
Yeah, you can see the rider there just grabbing a hold of Terrific Rock and Roll. And one thing that we know about this Terrific Energy babies is that they can all finish for sure. They can all get stronger as the race gets longer, like Ed Burgard used to say. So a good workout there for Terrific Rock and Roll here in race number 9 at Los Alamitos. So here's race number 3. This is a 1,000-yard event, and I just thought I just had to talk a little bit about this race because it's got some horses that we've seen perform really well here at Los Alamitos. The number 2 horse, Dutton, is a former track record holder here at Los Al, doing it back in December of 2022 when 51-51, winning a $30,000 stakes race here at Los Al, won by 3 lengths. And this horse was in top form at the time, also had won the previous outing by 2.25 lengths. We'll be seeing him back since September 29th when he kind of faded a little bit there, finished 4th against some common foes that are back in this race. Proud Veteran and Helatic are a couple of those horses. And to mention Proud Veteran, man, his connections must be very proud of this horse, a 7-year-old, and just continues to produce good effort after good effort. Look at that, 14 top 2 finishes from 25 starts, and he's been facing the best 1,000-yard runners that we've had here at Los Alamitos, including Project Leader and Code Duello. Code Duello won in impressive fashion last weekend here at Los Alamitos. So a really good group of runners going in race number 3 here at Los Al, Piper's Causeway, West Coast Gangster, the Laddick for Battleborn Racing Stables. This horse always shows really good speed, and with Proud Veteran in the mix here, it should be a really interesting race. Only 5 horses here, but 5 good ones. Looking forward to race number 3 here at Los Alamitos. Well, Chris, Michael, it's a big weekend of racing here in Southern California with the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar, followed by our racing program here at Los Alamitos. 10 races on tap on Saturday, 6 p.m. first post. And, of course, we have a Sunday program also on tap here at Los Alamitos this weekend. Really appreciate your time. Hope you enjoy the weekend of action here as well. Michael, Chris, and the viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Final word, Michael.
Mate, just looking forward to the weekend. The Breeders' Cup, huge racing in Australia, by the way, Friday night for people tuning into this preview show before Friday night. There's a race worth 10 million Australian dollars in Sydney, which equates to about 6.5 million US, comparable to the Breeders' Cup Classic. And there's 9 graded stakes on a 9-race program from Flemington in Melbourne. It's an incredible kind of a sensory overload for international horse racing across the weekend. And locally, of course, always enjoy being in the booth at Los Alamitos. Thanks to you, Orlando. good luck to you, Chris. Just not too much luck in race 9, mate.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's a closely matched affair. I did see a building your selection there on that horse, and got to give Terrific Rockville one more chance for like the 4th time.
All right.
Thank you all. Thank you for the viewers. Enjoy the weekend.
The field for the biggest Derby of the season at Los Alamitos is set for Sunday, November 10th, the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Super Derby. The field is led by top qualifier BP Cartel Policy, as he looks for his 3rd graded Derby of the year. Plus champion filly Dark Enemy. She's going after her 4th Grade 1 win. Plus the undefeated Stanley Cartel, the outstanding Boardwalk, and the Grade 1 winner Let's Leave. It's a field of super sophomores. The Los Alamitos Super Derby, Sunday, November 10th. The traditional $2 Pick 6 at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a Pick 6 carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the Pick 6 pool. Every Sunday night, we'll have either a Pick 6 carryover or the 10,000 Pick 6 promo, leading to gigantic total pools like the $286,000 pool on May 19th and over $269,000 on June 8th. The traditional $2 Pick 6, a great bet, a great deal, always at Los Alamitos.